Hi. So today I want to talk about unplanned manifestations. Manifestations that you don't really think about, but that happen anyway. And especially manifestations that seem to come through seemingly unwanted events. Because that happens more often than you would think. That an event, something that you seemingly don't want, actually ends up leading you to your manifestation. So I had something like that happen in high school. I manifested a trip to Belgium. And so the background of this is that I, as a high school student, was going to, it was some kind of event. It was like students all over Estonia and I think the Baltic states as well, and Russia as well. Like students from these places could take part in this event that was basically a simulation of how politics works. I don't think it's really important, like what the details of this event. I don't think that's important. And but I, as a student, was taking part in an event like that. It was something that happened in another school, in another town, not in my high school. But all of these students from these different countries would come to this event. And then we would act out this like simulation of how different countries discuss politics with each other. And like for this event, you had to come up with like a politician character for yourself we were like assigned different countries in the world. They made like teams of us. So it would be like myself and then another student from my school. And then we got paired up with like, I think a couple of students from Russia. And then, so that would be like our team. And then it would be like students from, I don't know, Lithuania and Latvia got paired together, and they made like different groups like that at the event. And so each group was made up of like politicians, which we were each portraying. But you could make up the identity of your politician. And we were assigned different countries. So like my group was assigned India, from what I remember. So we would have to like talk about the situation in like India with these different countries and come to like resolutions and stuff. It was something like that. So then I had to like make up some kind of Indian politician that I was playing basically at this event. And so I went there, and so as we were doing this simulation with the others, like there was a prize for the winning team, like the team that, I don't know, does it the best or something. I don't really remember, but there was a prize, and the prize was that the winning team would get to go to Belgium and then meet like real politicians in Belgium, and like, you know how like politicians like to meet in Belgium? So we would go to the place where they meet basically and see all of that. And so I was at this event with somebody from my high school and then these Russian students. We were one team. And like during this event, there were lots of different tasks we had to do. And we sort of kind of did pretty well as a team in most of these things. But you know, we were all teenagers, right? So we also had to like where this event was taking place at that school, we would have like a sleepover at that school. Possibly for several days, I think, because that event took several days to do. And so during the day would be like activities concerning this event, and then at night you had free time to do whatever. And we were teenagers, so lots of people did very questionable things. But anyway, I just remember from this that there was a task we had to do where like our whole team had to come up with like a speech, like on behalf of India, and like talk about the issues in India, like in that speech. And then somebody had to present this speech, and the one that was gonna like actually be the speaker for the speech was gonna be the person that the other person from my school that had come with me to this event. But we had to all sit together as a team, me and this person and then the Russians, and like come up with the speech. However, that never ended up happening. So this was like a task that was given to us, and then the next day we would have to present the speech. But basically what ended up happening was that seemingly I was the only responsible one, because this other person that had come with me, they were just like off doing I don't even know what, and the Russians were just like, from what I remember, they were just like rolling around in a chair in a corridor somewhere. Like a chair that has like wheels. Like this is what they were doing with a bunch of other students from other countries. And this was all happening while we were supposed to do this task, like come up with the speech to present the next day. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm the only one doing this for some reason, and no one's around, even though we actually have a task to do. And so it kind of fell to me to come up with a speech for India. And I'm not very strong at politics, so like I did my best with the speech, but I was really not sure about it. And the person that was supposed to be the speaker for this, like they didn't even turn up until next morning. So next morning came, and I just remember we all like gathered in this big hall, like everybody that was at this event gathered at the big hall. And the Russians hadn't seen the speech. The person who was supposed to be the speaker for the speech had not seen the speech. Like they just turned up next to me and looked like somebody who had been having fun all night. I don't know what they were doing. But it kind of looked rough. And so in my head, I was thinking, I know that they're supposed to like present the speech, but they haven't even read it. And they look really rough and tired. And so, like, I remember at the last second, I made this suggestion to this person. I was like, hey, you look like pretty tired from last night. And what do you think about maybe me doing the speech? Because, I mean, you haven't even really read it, and I wrote it, and I know what's in it. And they were just like, oh my God, thank you so much. Because I am so tired. I really am so tired. And I was just thinking, like, how was I going to go on stage and do this speech? So now, like last minute, it fell to me to do that. And again, I was not very confident about the content of this speech, but at this time already, I knew that I like I was very interested in acting already at that point. And so like my character, like I put like a lot of attention to detail for creating this Indian politician character. So I knew, and I knew also that like I can give speeches because I had done that before. And like it doesn't freak me out or anything. So I was just like, I'm not confident about the content of the speech, but I am just gonna try to act my way through it, basically. So anyway, I went and I did the speech, and it was, everything went well. And then the event just kind of went on, and this problem was now solved. And then at the end of the event, because this took several days, but once the event ended, they were like giving out, because there was the big prize of like going on a trip for like one team, but they were also giving out some kind of awards there. I don't really remember exactly what or for what, but I remember that I got an award for this speech, like for how I did it. So yay. I guess like that ended up working out for me. Anyway, so and then they announced the winning team of this event, and it was not our team, so it was another team. And I just figured out, okay, I had thought about like that trip to Belgium. I had been like, yeah, that would be nice. I would like that if that came to us, but we didn't win, so it didn't come to us. And so then the event ended, and we all went back to our respective schools. And then, I don't know how much time it took, but maybe it was like 1 week later or something. I remember being at school, and this was just like a normal school day. Like nothing was really going on. I had basically forgotten about this event already because I was over, we didn't win, and just that was kind of that, I thought. But then I think I was in like English class or something, and my English teacher comes in during class, and she like invites me to a principal's office. And so like I'm thinking, what now? Why am I being invited to the principal's office? Never been invited to the principal's office ever before. So I go in the middle of the class, and they're like, these people, the organizers of that event, they are calling you. So here's, I took the phone and I talked to them, and the organizers of the event are just like, hey, so we are currently booking the tickets for that Belgium trip. And I know that an organizer was talking to me saying these things. I know that your team, didn't win, and there's another team that won, and they were like all kind of, they agreed to go, but now one person, for some reason, this reason is still unknown to me today, one person can't come. And so now we are calling you. Have not called anybody else yet. You're the first one we are calling, and basically we are offering to you, would you like to come to this trip? I had completely forgotten about this trip at that point. And they're just like, we need your answer in the next 10 minutes, otherwise we're gonna call somebody else. Because we're booking right now, like right at this very moment. And so then I was like, okay, well, I need to call my mother about this. And I already knew what my mom was gonna be like. She doesn't like things coming just out of the blue like that are unplanned. So I was like, I'm really gonna spook her with this, but I really would like to go. And then I, called my mom and explained the situation to her. And yeah, of course, she was spooked. She didn't really like this coming out of the blue, but I really wanted to go. And then she was like, oh, okay. If they are paying for everything, then sure, you can go. And then I called them back and I said, yeah, I'm coming. And then they booked me. And then the trip actually ended up happening. And I got to go to Belgium with that other team and be part of everything that we were part of there. Meet several different politicians and go to that whatever place where they all gather and do their discussions in Brussels. And it was very interesting. But this just goes to show that there are so many manifestations that happen that you first think about and you're like, oh yeah, I would like this, but then it seems to like not come your way, and then you kind of forget about it, and then it comes anyway. And this was a situation that like at first was completely unwanted, because what I think, and maybe they actually told me this too, that like they like the speech that I did. So that speech that I ended up like writing myself and then performing myself, even though that was not how this was supposed to go. This was supposed to be a team task. So that was kind of like an unwanted situation at the time. I ended up doing it all by myself, and then that actually ended up being the thing that like brought this manifestation to me in the end. Because imagine if I hadn't done that. I don't think it would have gone the same way. I don't think I would have been the one that they would have offered this free spot to. So it's just very interesting. Sometimes things come in interesting, surprising ways, and sometimes they come through seemingly unwanted situations. So now I think this had to go that way because I wanted to go on that trip, but we didn't win, right? So there had to be another way to get me there, and I guess that was it. So I just wanted to share that experience with you tonight, and I hope you got something out of this. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.